What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel, and for today's video, I actually have a very interesting updated Egyptian god deck profile for you guys. And I know what you guys are thinking, wait a minute, why Egyptian god? Truth be told, I didn't realize it, but truth be told, truth be told, the Ishizu cards that were seen in the Ishizu tier deck from YCS Pasadena, they're actually pretty good in this deck. Yeah, if you can actually believe it. So this is this is more of a meta slash anti-meta deck where you're basically just overwhelming your opponent with with some of your extra deck monsters, such as the Egyptian God Slime, the Appaloosa, Axis Code, Decode, just cards like those, and yeah, I did a complete 180 on this deck, give it a complete revamp, and after doing some testing, this deck is actually pretty nuts. Is it nuts to be seen at a future YCS? Yeah, it's possible, but how it gets played at a YCS level, it still remains to be a mystery. So hopefully you guys are ready for this deck profile. If you guys are, and you guys want to see more deck profiles in the future, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all of my social media. My ats will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. If you guys want to send me fan mail and you want me to open it up on the channel, the info will be in the description as well. So let's get straight into it. Obviously, you guys know it would not be an Egyptian god deck without the three gods themselves: Obelisk the Tormentor, Slifer the Sky Dragon, the Winged Dragon Raw, plus the Winged Dragon Raw Sphere Mode. Only one copy of each, just because of the fact that if you don't open with a card like, say, let's say Soul Crossing, then these cards are gonna essentially just be bricks. But what's cool about the Winged Dragon Raw Sphere Mode is that it's technically a kaiju. So you can basically tribute three monsters from your opponent's side of the field, summon this card to your opponent's board, and then when your next turn comes, you can bounce it back to your side of the field, and then tribute it off to summon the Winged Dragon Raw, in which case Raw would gain 4,000 attack and defense, making it probably one of the beefiest monsters on board, depending on what the board looks like. So only one copy of each. I ended up replacing as well the Guardian Slime with 2 copies of Zolga the Prophet. Yeah, so not only do we have the 2 copies of Zolga the Prophet, we got the one-ofs. The one Kelbek, the Ancient Vanguard, Mudor the Sword Oracle, Agito the Ancient Sentinel, and of course Keldo the Sacred Protector. So if you guys don't know what any of these cards do, I will give a thorough explanation of what they do. Zolga the Prophet is a 4-star Earth Fairy with 1700 attack, 1200 defense, and the effect reads that if you control an Earth Fairy, you can, except for itself, you can special summon this card from your hand and look up, and then you're able to look at up to 5 cards from the top of both your deck and your opponent's. So this way, by getting a good look at the top 5 cards that your opponent has, you're basically able to manipulate their next 5 draws, which is going to be absolutely insane. This can easily help you set up your plays for Appaloosa access code, or just do Decode Talker and IP Masquerena, go into the access code talker, and you're able to just pop off from there, which is absolutely pretty nuts. Now obviously oh wait, also I almost forgot. Zolga has another effect, which reads, when a monster that was normal summoned by attributing this card declares an attack, you can banish this card from your grave, destroy that monster. If you do, inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent. So this basically just ensures they are able to have game on board. So in a situation where you have Zolga on board, plus let's say 2 of your opponent's monsters, and you have Soul Crossing in hand with let's say Obelisk in your hand, you can go battle phase, attack into some of the more weaker monsters with your 4-star monsters, or your Link monsters or whatever. Activate Soul Crossing, tribute off Zolga, and 2 more of your opponent's monsters. Summon out Obelisk. Have Obelisk attack into yet another monster. Zolga's effect triggers. That monster gets destroyed. They take 2,000 damage. They take 2,000 damage, and then they'll be taking another 4,000 off of Obelisk's attack. So that's a grand total of 6,000. That's a grand total of up to 6,000 attack. And my brother just texted me. Hang on, guys. Give me 1 second. There we go. Anyway, so again, that's actually pretty nuts. Now, obviously, Kelbeck, Mudora, Agito, and Keldo, we all know what these cards. We all know what these cards do. I believe Kelbeck and Agito are the 2 that have the mill effects. Let's see. Yep. Yeah. I thought so. So both Kelbeck and Agito have the mill effects. Mudora and Keldo have the pot of avarice effect. So Kelbeck's effect reads as follows: If a card or cards is sent from the hand or deck to your opponent's graveyard, except during the damage step, you can target one special summon monster your opponent controls, special summon this card from your hand, and return that monster to the hand. If this card is sent from the hand or deck to the grave, you can activate this effect. Each player sends the top 5 cards of their deck to the graveyard, or their entire deck if less than 5. Then, if Exchange of the Spirit is in your graveyard, you can set a trap from your grave. But here's the thing. The only traps that we have in the main deck are the 2 Metal Reflex Slime and the 2 Solemn Warning. So there's going to be no... So even if we did have Exchange of the Spirit in the deck, there would be no opportunity to set one of the 4 from your graveyard to your back row, because obviously your opponent might end up activating a card like say Cosmic Cyclone just to banish it. So it's kind of an iffy effect, if you will. Agito basically has the same. Basically, it basically just has the same effect. But I believe Agito is a bit different. So let's see here. Agito's effect reads: if a card is sent from the hand or deck to your opponent's grave, except during the damage step, special summon this card from your hand and special summon a 4-star Earth Fairy from your grave except this card. So this is this card basically can basically let you resummon Zolga the Prophet, and you're able to just go into a rank 4, or go into cards such as your IP, the Nightmare Cerberus, or the Nightmare Phoenix, or whatever card you may have at your disposal, which is really nuts. Mudora's effect reads, you can discard one other Earth Fairy monster special summons card from your hand that plays a Gravekeeper's Trap from your deck face up in your back row. So that is a bit unfortunate, because because the Gravekeeper's Trap cards that are available, I think, are Gravekeeper's Trap. So, yeah, so Gravekeeper's Trap is the only one, but the problem is that we're now running Exchange of the Spirit. So unfortunately, it's not going to be useful. But what's cool about Mudora is that it has a sort of like a mini Pot of Avarice effect, as does Keldo. So they're both really good. But what's cool about this is that each of these, guys, I apologize, my desk moved. Here, there we go. That should do it. Wait. There we go. Anyway, so basically, just to summarize, each of these has their own special effect. They all can be special summoned, which is pretty nuts. Zolkin can deal 2,000 damage whenever you use it to normal summon Obelisk, which is amazing. Kelbeck and Akito have a sort of like a mill effect, which is really nice. And then Mudora and Keldo all have a sort of like a mini Pot of Avarice effect. And what's even more cool is that you can even use them to go into any rank 4 play that you may have at your disposal. In my case, the rank 4s that I have are the Time Thief Redoer, the Tornado Dragon, and the number 101 Silent Honor Arc, which obviously we know can also go into Silent Honor Dark, can help you go into Zeus. So those are my Xyz monsters that I got in the extra, which I'll get to that a little later on, but that's actually pretty cool. Moving on with the rest of the monsters, we got 3 copies of Ra's Disciple, a nice way to go into Slifer, Obelisk, or Ra, which is really nice. We got the 2 Millennium Seeker as a way to ensure that you don't lose. Because what's cool about this is that if you take 1,000 or more battle or effect damage, you're able to special summon this card from your hands in defense, and then you're able to target a monster in your opponent's graveyard. Except a monster that has question mark attack, and your opponent can choose one monster from their deck, and except the monster with question mark attack. If they choose not to, or if the targeted monster has higher attack than the chosen monster, you're able to special summon that targeted monster to your board. In which case you can go into cards like say the Nightmare Unicorn or perhaps an IP Masquerena, depending on what monster you chose, basically, which is really nice. So this is a great way to ensure that you can go into the IP Masquerena and then go into a Deco Talker, depending on what the board looks like, which is really cool. We got the 2 Holding Legs and the 2 Holding Arms. Holding Legs is basically a giant Trune, but for set back row, which is really nice. And what's even more cool about this is that it sort of has a mini Zing Zing Hu effect where you're able to banish the card from your graveyard, target one set back row, and it can't use and your opponent can't activate that card until the end of the next turn. So again, it's sort of like a mini Zing Zing Hu, which I am running that card in the side for obvious reasons. So it's pretty cool. Excuse me. And then Holding Arms has sort of like a... is basically Shadow Spell, which is hilarious. Or sorry, no, it's sort of like a mini Fiendish Chain. So if you guys have never seen Holding Arms before, the effect reads, if this card is normal or special summon, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls. While this card is face-up on the field, that face-up monster cannot attack, and its effects are negated. While that face-up monster is on the field. While that face-up monster is on the field, this card cannot be a short battle or card effects. So not even a card like Darkhold can destroy this card, which is insane. Well, actually, technically it can, because Darkhold wipes the board clean, but I'll say not a card like Regeki can do anything about it. The only thing that will stop Holding Arms is obviously, well, we all know, Forbidden Droplet. We all know, but these two cards are just absolutely broken in this deck. I never thought that we would ever get these cards printed, because they were released in, what was it, Rivals of the Pharaoh, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but yeah. And then to round up the monsters, we got the 2 copies of Reactor Slime to help go into the IP Masquerena. It can also help go into Link Rebo, which gives you multiple disruptions, which is amazing. And then we got the 2 copies of Scapegoat, which even though it's a tuner, token spam, go into Link Rebo IP Masquerena turn 1. You're off to the races from there. So that's pretty much it for the monster lineup, for the spell lineup, for the 1-ofs anyway. We got the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, the 1 Pot of Avarice. Just in case if you did banish the Mudora and the Keldo, and you don't have a way to get your monsters back into your deck, Pot of Avarice is there to ensure it, if you will. Call by, because obviously it's call by. Monster Reborn, rank up Magic Numeron Force for the Silent Honor Arc plays, which is amazing. And also too, it is also a Dark Ruler No More, which is insane. We got the 1 Thunder Force attack, which I believe this is the one that can... Yeah, so we've got... Yeah, I thought so. So we have the one Thunder Force attack, because it's actually a Raigeki, and then Fist of Fate is essentially a Harpy's Feather, another version of Harpy's Feather Duster. So I believe that is the case. So Thunder Force attack's effect reads, this card's activation and effect cannot be negated. If you control a monster whose original name is Slifer the Sky Dragon, destroy as many face-up monsters your board controls as possible. Then if you activate this card during your main phase, you can apply the following effect. Draw cards equal to the number of monsters destroyed by this effect and sent to your opponent's grave, and you can only attack with 1 monster this turn. Which is nuts. So it's essentially a Raigeki Card of Sanctity anime version, if you will, which is insane. Fist of Fate's effect reads that if you do control Obelisk the Tormentor, negate the effects of one effect monster your opponent controls, and if you do, destroy it. And if you do that, for the rest of the turn, the effects of that monster are negated, as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of monsters with the same original name. Then, if you activated this card during your main phase, you can basically destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls. So again, as I said before, Thunder Force attack is essentially a Raigeki. Fist of Fate is essentially a Harpy's Feather Duster. So it's as if I'm running two Dusters in one deck, which is insane, because Duster is at 1, and we all know how crazy a deck would be if Duster was at 3. Was at like 2 or 3. Then we have obviously the combo. True name, Card Advance. We all know. Card Advance lets you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, and switch them up in any order that you feel like. You're only allowed to normal summon once, or tribute summon once, in addition to your normal summon are said, and then True Name basically just ensures that you can declare a card name off of the effect of card advance. So if you declared, let's say, Pot of Avarice, and so let's say card advance, one of the cards is Pot of Avarice. You put that on top of the deck. You activate True Name, call Pot of Avarice, you draw it, you top deck it. Then you can actually add. Then you can add Obelisk, any of the three Egyptian gods, or Raw Sphere mode. Add one of them to your hand, and you can just combo off from there. The only downside with the True Name is that if you don't get the card right, then the card that you top decked gets sent to the graveyard, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. And then to round up the spells, we got the 3 copies of Soul Crossing to ensure that you're able to go into any of your 3 Egyptian gods really easily, and then the 2 copies of Mound of the Bound Creator, just to ensure that you deal even more damage to your opponent. So if you were to let's say you have, again, as I said, Zolga the Prophet on board. You activate Soul Crossing, tribute Zolga and 2 of your opponent's monsters, summon out Obelisk. Zolga's effect would trigger when Obelisk would declare an attack. One of the monsters gets destroyed. They take 2,000 damage. Guess what? With Mounds of the Bound Creator on board, they would take another 1,000. Another 1,000 if Obelisk were to destroy another monster in battle, so that it can basically just go up to 7,000 damage, and you could just attack for game right there, which is insane, absolutely insane. So it's pretty nice. Plus, not only that, if you do get Obelisk on board or any of the 3 Egyptian gods, Mounds of the Bound Creator just ensures that your level 10 or higher monsters, which does include one of the three Egyptian gods or the Egyptian god slime, does not get destroyed by battle or card effect. Sorry, targeted or destroyed by card effect. Sorry, which is pretty nuts. And then for the traps, as I mentioned, we got the 2 Metal Reflex Slime and the 2 Solemn Warning. For the extra deck, I did sort of a not a complete revamp, but I kind of switched it up a little bit. So for the extra deck, I got the two Egyptian God Slime. I got the Zeus, the Silent Honor Arc, Silent Honor Dark Line, Tiny Thief Redoer, Tornado Dragon. We have a new addition to this whole deck, which is obviously Appaloosa, because Appaloosa is absolutely insane. We got the Axis Code Talker, Decode Talker, the 3 Nightmares, Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus, IP Masquerena, and of course, the Link Karibo. And for the side deck, I did a complete 180 on the side deck. So for the side deck, I've got the 2 copies of Kumongus, the Sticky String Kaiju, as a way to sort of out the Cashier decks. If you go up against them, this is a great way to out the Cashier decks. And what's even more hilarious is that once you kaiju your opponent's board, you can activate Solemn Warning or any counter trap that would summon monsters. Activate it, and the Kumongas goes into your graveyard, which is insane. We got 2 Ash Blossom, 2 Ghost Spell, and 2 Ash Blossom, 2 Ghost Ogre, and 2 Ghost Spell, because obviously these 3 work hand in hand. We have obviously the Waking the Dragon for none other than Side Frame Lord Omega. The reason why I've got Omega in here is because of the fact that Mudora and of course Zolga as well as Keldo are going to be going to be banished. So by banishing them, and also by banishing as well holding legs, the side fronting Lord Omega can basically just ensure that those monsters go back into your graveyard. So when you want to activate Mudora's effect again, you can just do that over and over and over again during each of your opponent's standby phases, which is insanely broken. We've got the third metal reflex sign, the 2 copies of Zing Zang Hu, obviously to stop any back row from being triggered, and then the 2 copies of Solemn Strike to round out the entire deck. So honestly, this deck is it's a bit different from before, but I will be posting the deck about an hour or 2 or so after this video gets put up. So make sure you guys check out the full deck list. Yeah, I guess I should have mentioned, we now have 5 dogs in this house, and we're breaking California state law. Yeah, my grandmother thought it was a good idea to have my uncle's ex-wife come live with us, and she's gonna be paying the price very drastically. I'm in hell. Anyway, that being said, make sure you guys check out the full deck list on my Instagram, because I always post the deck list on there. My Instagram ad will be in the description. And that brings me to the question of the day, which is this: what deck do you guys want to see me do a profile on? I'm very curious, because I might end up doing it. I'm thinking about doing a Cashier deck, but I don't know how the deck is built. So I might try it out, but let me know down in the comments below, and that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more deck profiles in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description, as will the info to my fan mail. If you guys want to send me fan mail and you guys want me to open it up on the channel, the info will be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.